Before we jump into today's conversation, I wanted to tell you why this podcast exists. Welcome to very first episode of YBC Podcast, where YBC stand for YouTube Business Club. I truly believe that one conversation can change the way that you build your business. That's why this isn't the podcast that you have to sit down, watch from beginning to end. Whether you are driving, working, walking or at gym, my goal is simple that every episode give you at least one idea, one strategy or one lesson that helps you to grow your business faster. The purpose of YBC is to bring together creators, entrepreneurs, business owners who are using content, especially YouTube, to build their real business. We want to go beyond the highlight reels, talk about what actually worked today, what does not, the mistake people make, the system they have built, and the strategy they are helping them to grow. If you are building a business with content or you wanted to start, this podcast is for you. And if you are a creator or entrepreneur with a story worth sharing, I love to have you inside YBC Podcast. Reach out to me on Instagram or any social media platform. Let's have a conversation because your journey could be the one that inspires someone else. Now, for today's episode, we are joined by Bradford and the entrepreneur who built an audience across YouTube, Instagram, LinkedIn, and the multi other platform. He has grown his YouTube channel with over 12,000 plus subscribers and thriving Skool community, more than 6,000 members, and has built a business that generates between around $20,000 to $50,000 per month by using content as front end of his business. This conversation we dive into how he think about content, how he turned attention into revenue, how automation has helped him scale, and the system he have built behind the scene. Whether you are creator, coach, agency owner, or entrepreneur, that's a lot of you to take away from this episode. So grab a note or simplify, press play while you are on your walk, and let's get into the conversation. So guys, we have Branford with us, and thank you so much for being here.
Absolutely. Thank you so much for having me.
So can you tell me about yourself to the audience first? Who you are, what you do, those kind of things?
Sure. So my short version of my story is I started off my career as a business law attorney before moving into business coaching and consulting, specifically focusing on marketing and sales. And over the years, I've worked with clients in 56 different countries across 26 different industries, everything from gold mines to pizza shops and everything in between, including world champion athletes. And roughly a year and a half ago, I was looking at the landscape and going, man, AI is about to take over everything. I have to learn AI. But I'm not technical. I don't know how to code. I don't know how to program or anything like that. So I had to use low code tools and I was able to figure it out. And thankfully, it's like playing Sudoku or chess in many ways. You just kind of have to think through the logic of how these things work. And I started putting up my content on YouTube. Before I knew it, I had over 10,000 subscribers. YouTube. I'm like almost 13,000 now. I have something like 6,000 people in my Skool community. And it all happened really quickly. And that's what we're here to talk about today, isn't it?
Yes, yes. So how you have come up with whatever you were doing before, like the gold mine, those kind of thing, and you stumble upon like the AI thing now. So how it's happened actually?
How did it happen? I was just sitting there going, man, I need to learn how to code because AI is going to do something. Like I was already using it for drafting my tweets and my blogs and stuff like that, right? Writing my emails. But I knew there was more to it. There was automations. There's stuff we could like handle with the AI rather than us having to sit there at the computer working it. And so I sat down, I'm like, okay, I'm going to learn how to code today. And that didn't work so well. I tried for about 2 weeks to figure it out. And, the logic part made sense to me, but like actually typing it out and everything that goes with it. I mean, if you showed me code right now, I would have no idea what it says.
Yeah, yeah. So how only the AI? Why not another things that you wanted to do with that? So why you have started with AI things, and you were saying about you were posting blogs and those kind of stuff. So you were on online before. So how did
Yeah, yeah. So most of my business, I honestly, I don't do any business local. All my business is international, usually, some national here in the United States. But I've been posting content online for over 10 years now. When I had a law practice, we were some of the first people to use digital marketing as attorneys in order to grow our client base. And it was just, we went to Facebook, we went into the Facebook groups, just look for local community groups, threw an ad in there, And you can't do that anymore, really. They shut you down before you can do that. But like back then, it was the Wild West. You could do whatever you wanted. And we got a ton of clients. We grew really quick from it. And so I kind of made my focus digital marketing. How can I grow my business with digital marketing? And we've just been doing it since.
Yeah, yeah. So, like, what kind of problem that you actually solve now, and what kind of problem yet that you were solving before? Like, you were having this log lines, those kind of things. What you were doing before, and what you were doing now? Like,
So, well, it depends on what you mean by before and after, because I kind of shifted everything I was doing into AI when I learned how to be able to build automations. And so, an automation is just simply a series of steps that you take in order to accomplish a goal. And it could be as simple as just having something read your emails, tag it with what you want, and then move it to the right folder. That could be an automation. So before you ever get to your inbox, everything's where it's supposed to be. But it could be something like building a lead magnet. Say I have an idea for an offer that I want to do. The offer I will put into my system, and I've built a huge custom system I'm sure we're going to talk about, but I will take the idea of my offer, and then the AI will design what that kind of funnel should look like, the marketing funnel, the sales funnel, and it'll build all the different pieces and parts along the way, such as the lead magnets, the landing pages, the sales pages, the low ticket offers, everything that goes into it now kind of just happens from an idea rather than, 2 years ago, if I was doing this, I'd sit down for like 2 weeks and I would do all the graphic design myself and I would record all the videos myself and edit them, write the blogs and the copy and come up with all the packages. And it would take ages to do it before I was ready to launch. Now, I put in an idea in the morning and by the afternoon, almost everything's done.
but like AI has been coming and started with this industry like now 3 4 years now, and before what we was doing and how it has comes to, and you have created your channel and those kind of things. We can talk about it later, but how when you started this AI thing, it's like before, like when it was early in the start, or like you have doing this for a year or 2 years, so how it goes.
So when ChatGPT 3 came out, that was what, in November of 2022? I was in there right away. As soon as I heard the news, I was trying it and using it. And it was so janky back then. Like looking back on it now, where like it was magic back then, right? Like it was the coolest thing in the world. And you look at it, it could only write maybe a page. And then it like couldn't do anything else. And like was barely coherent. And all it could do was write. And I remember like, I'm going to write 1,000 tweets with this. I'll just schedule them out for like the next 3 months. And after like the fifth one, they all kind of sounded the same. So I've been using it since, ChatGPT 3 came out. And it was December of 24, so just a year and a half ago, that I said, okay, it's good enough now to be able to automate stuff with it. How do I do that? And so I learned N8N. That was the platform that I used in order to learn how to be able to build the automations. And I spent January, February of last year just building stuff for myself, building stuff for some clients that I had. An example would be I had a client who worked with an advertising company. And so the advertising company's client needed to put stuff into Google Merchant Center. Something like 8,500 products. So that would take a human like 2 weeks at least of full-time work to be able to do that, because she had to review the images and whether it was for a baby versus a toddler versus a kid versus a teenager, and what colors were they, and all of this information needed to go into Google Merchant Center in order to be able to advertise properly. So I put together a workflow. It took me maybe like 3 hours to build it, and then we turned it on, and 8 hours later it got done with 8,200 of all of those. So it had 300 or so that it was not able to process. All the rest got done automatically in 8 hours.
Yeah.
So it saved her 2 weeks of time. And this was, before we had Claude Code, before we had all the cool stuff we have now. Did I answer your question?
Yeah, yeah, it definitely does. Like, what I wanted to ask. So before, like, you come up with this digital marketing, doing this lot of things on online, like how you come up with doing this entrepreneurship rather than doing some kind of job. So, like, how does it come? Because you said that you are in this industry for like 10 years now.
Right.
Back. So how does it comes to that?
So I started my career as an attorney, and I had a job at the beginning. I worked for the United States Sixth Circuit Court of Appeals when I was in law school. And then I worked for a county court as soon as I got out of law school. So I had a job, 9 to 5. And at 5, you left. There was no extra work. It was no entrepreneurship whatsoever. And then I worked for a law practice, and I became the youngest named partner in the state of Ohio at age 27. But again, like at 5 o'clock, all the staff left, and like there really wasn't all that much to do because you couldn't call anybody else, and so you kind of left. But then my wife and I, she was my fiance back then, we looked at me, we're like, Brad's incredible. Look at all the amazing things he's done already. We had a little bit of an ego back then. And we said, okay, let's just start our own business. It can't be that hard to start a business, right? Uh, and little did I know that like that first year in business was like the most miserable experience we were going to have because we didn't know how to get clients. We had no idea how to get clients. We're attorneys. Like you get clients, they just come to you, right? So little did we know, and that was what led me to my journey to go into digital marketing. And the law practice was great. I was an entrepreneur at that point, right? As soon as I had this business, I was an entrepreneur. But when my daughter was born, my wife had some health complications. We had to close the law practice.
Hmm.
And so here I am. We don't have a business anymore, but I've been doing business law, and I'm like, I guess I can be a business coach. That's same thing, right? Business law, business coach, same thing. And that's what began my journey kind of down this road of being a business consultant because I moved to Las Vegas. I joined with a consulting firm. They taught me everything I needed to know. And I've just been doing my own business since then.
So how long that you done this job for? Like how long actually? In this law firm that you are talking about?
So the law, okay, like the law practice we had was about 5 years.
Okay.
Yeah, we had that for about 5 years, and my daughter was born.
Yeah, that's awesome. So like for example, how you find out that digital marketing is something that you can start with your own business rather than doing just offline business. So how do you find out like 10 years back that I'm looking, like how you have that particular knowledge?
So it came as being an entrepreneur. So, we use Facebook groups to get our initial set of clients. And then, the platforms change. They put in new rules. They change how you can post stuff in groups. So we had to start looking for additional ways to be able to market. And hey, if Facebook worked the first time, might as well keep using Facebook just in different ways, right? And so we also extended out to Instagram. We extended out to YouTube a little bit. But the offline to being online business, it was just a natural transition. I remember I saw, I think it was Russell Brunson, with ClickFunnels had a webinar, and he showed me how to be able to make web pages. And again, I'm not technical. I don't know how to build a web page with HTML or JavaScript. I have no idea. So when,
What year that we are talking about this, the curriculum that you are having, like the learning phase?
2013, 2014, 2015.
Okay.
Okay. And then my daughter was born in 2017. So, pretty much as soon as I started in the vein of watching webinars and learning how to do marketing and reading blogs, it's just all you do, especially if you're really passionate about what you're doing. But yeah, that's when I started learning how to build websites with ClickFunnels. I started offering other people to build their websites for them as well because just some extra quick cash. It was really easy. In fact, when I moved to Las Vegas, I was looking for work here in town, clients, working for somebody. I didn't really care. I was just looking for work. I was posting online every single day, posting on Instagram, sending DMs, just, hey, do you want me to build a website for you? Just, hey, make cash however you can.
So have you found those clients that you were looking for online, like doing those DMs outreach every single day
Yeah.
you are doing?
Oh, yeah. I mean, I don't know about every single day. I would send, I always make sure I try to send 50 communications every single day, every single day.
Okay.
Since way back then, every single day. And any client that comes to me, especially if it's for marketing or sales, like if you have to send 50 a day, if not, you don't get a refund. Like that's how it works.
This is before that you were doing this creating content on Facebook, or the similar time that you were creating content on Facebook as well, and you were doing outreach. So how it was?
Yeah. So when we closed the law practice, I switched over to business consulting. I just changed the content I was making because we were making content for the law practice.
So
I mean, we were making video content, we were making picture posts, we were making text posts. You make everything you possibly can as on many platforms as you possibly can. because they're just open platforms. They're free to post. People eyeballs. It's all about eyeballs. That's the only thing that matters in business is how many people see you. Some amount of those people will say, I have no interest in you. Some amount of people will say, okay, this sounds interesting. Let me either follow him longer to see if I can get something out of him. Or in some people, how do I hire you right now?
Mm.
That's how it works.
Why? Because the most people that I have been speaking to, like they upload content in like treating platform very individually. So some people only focus on Instagram, some people only focus on YouTube groups, those kind of things. So how you come up with like this thing that platform are like free to post, so post everywhere, anywhere that you can to get more eyeballs. So how do you have built that mindset rather than
So I guess my mindset came from Grant Cardone. I remember reading his books, Be Obsessed, Be Average, 10X Rule, watching his content, and it was just post, 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 post as much as you can. And I mean, when I find a vein that works, so say Facebook groups, we'll just dive into using Facebook groups, just as many as we can, the right ones, niched, whichever, whatever the market says is resonating with our message, that's what we lean into. And I don't put a lot of time into my content. I make a lot of it. I just don't put a lot of time into it. Like you're a YouTube guy. You put a lot of time into making sure these videos look good. I don't spend a lot of time on it because I'm making so much content and hitting as many platforms as I can that my reach is still roughly equivalent to somebody who's putting in time, but maybe not necessarily going viral every time.
so some people like create very good quality videos, good quality editing, and some people like you create only like I would say more informative, more like experience based videos, like in very quantity basis. So how does it comes like you haven't you mind like why I'm not creating content like everyone else, like of fancy editing, like those kind of things.
So this goes to what platform are you on? So for YouTube, right? Like my thinking on YouTube is it's a search platform. It's owned by Google. The point of YouTube is to help people get information. Yes, there's a ton of entertainment on it, but that search bar at the top is what number 3 search bar in the world, right? It's behind Google, TikTok, and then YouTube. Or unless TikTok is now ahead, I think. And then it's Google and then YouTube. But it's a search bar. So when I make content on YouTube, my thinking is what questions are people asking that my video answers?
Hmm.
And so, when I first started doing kind of my own influencer content, not necessarily related to law practice, not necessarily related to business coaching, but I had a brand. I called it the Gamerpreneur. And I was teaching video gamers how and streamers how to market themselves and how to be able to set up sales funnels and email lists and all of that because everybody was doing it bad. Like they were just doing very poorly at their marketing. So I was like, hey, let me show you guys how to do it. And that's literally what I did. I started off with something like 10 1-minute videos. And it was super keyworded, like how to delete your LinkedIn account or how to set this one setting on Instagram, something like that. And those videos to this day still get a ton of views.
So this is that we are talking about on YouTube that we are started posting, or the Facebook that you were already posting and
Yes.
content.
So on Facebook, I don't post on my personal account. I have a page that I post on. I'll go into groups. I go into groups on Facebook because it's each platform has kind of its own community, has its own flavor. Like for I don't really deal with Twitter, X. I don't really deal with that too much just because I haven't figured out how to break into that one yet. But each, why YouTube versus Facebook? I ended up growing on Facebook. So it's not that I chose or, it's I put it on both and then my audience found me on Facebook. So when I was doing Gamerpreneur, and this was back in 2020 to 2022 or so, I grew 160,000 followers on Facebook. I grew 400 subscribers on YouTube in the same time. Nobody wanted to watch my content on YouTube, but they watched it on Facebook.
Hmm. So
I don't know where they're being, so I start posting
so how much you are posting on Facebook and in YouTube is like similar?
every day. One main video every day. I also did lives pretty much every day. For YouTube, I don't so much do lives. I'm probably going to do more lives coming up here soon. I'm trying to figure out how to do them on every platform at once if I can.
So,
But either
is it that you actually faced when you started your content creation and digital marketing at the earliest?
it would be the content editing was my biggest challenge because not being technical, right? Like, and not necessarily having spent any amount of time doing editing before, I had to learn it myself. And when I have clients and I'm making the content and I'm making the programs and I have to do all the other stuff that comes with running a business, I just didn't have the time to figure it out. So most of my videos are just raw cut. It's me in front of a camera. Usually I'll switch to like a main screen where I'm showing off what I'm working on. I might clip out any, flubs that I make. That's might be the extent of the editing I do, but then you cut off the front, cut off the back, add an end screen where, hey, make sure to join me and the stuff you're supposed to do, subscribe, like the channel, click the bell notification. You know what I'm talking about.
It is pretty much frustrating as well, like embarrassed when we says about like, subscribe, share, those kind of things. What is your intent in that?
How do I feel about that? You have to do it. You have to do it. Now, I make sure to look at the research. When the big marketing companies come out with their state of Meta's algorithm this year reports, right? I'll take a look at it, and so some platforms you don't want to say that, like LinkedIn. Don't say comment on my post because they'll downrank your content. On Instagram, comment report below, and I'll send you my free thing. They love it, right? So you say it. So you just have to know what you're supposed to say per platform.
Yeah. So like when someone is like most of the people that I speak is like they afraid about posting content online, which include like multiple platform. So how you have started and how you have taken out your fears on front of camera and speaking out, like is the script that you say is what is it actually that someone who's like afraid of posting so they know that.
So I'll just tell this story, okay?
Okay.
The first time I went live on Facebook, I had my phone and, I told my wife I was going to do this because, I'm going to go live. Just, be quiet. I'm like, you know what? I don't even want to be in the same house with her because she'll hear me talking. So I went outside out front of my house and I'm like, hey guys, here I am. And I, did my little thing, whatever it was. And then I saw the one eyeball, like the one, someone's watching. I threw my phone down and I went inside, like, I'm done. That's how it starts. I think it starts for most people that way because no one's like used to filming yourself, right? It's kind of weird. No one wants to hear your own voice. It's kind of weird. So you just do it. Suck it up, go out, do it, record it, post it. Posting it's the harder part than recording it because you're like, oh, everybody's going to see me. You post it and then you just go on with your day, do it again tomorrow, do it again the day after that. And eventually you don't even notice it.
So my story is pretty much different. So when I was doing this 9 to 5 job and before I stumbled into this YouTube, basically I always wanted to be a YouTuber kind of things. So I was pretty much developing my skills into it back in like 5 years ago. So I started like buying some stuffs like a fancy camera, like buying from friend and mic of like a cheap mic that Amazon have. I
Mhm.
started reading book and camera in front of me. So I was doing this for like 5 years before I exactly wanted to be as a content creator like a year ago. And my first video basically I have recorded on English because this is my second language and how to be pronounce the things that need to be actually consider like how people can understand those kind of things, and I was like preparing myself in that, and it took me 12 hours to record 5-minute videos in a dark room. Basically that was pretty much I was uploading on Fiverr because to get clients from my agency, those kind of things, but it was kind of hell. That was like pretty much experience because before that also I was recording pretty much content, but that was the long duration content and it took me like 12 hours.
So, and I ask you a question. I know it's supposed to be interviewing me, but like, how do you feel about the AI generated voice stuff now? Because you don't even have to speak if you don't want to.
So I did try that. I have few example and I have posted on my Twitter as well when I was doing this kind of research because creating content is getting me bit frustrating when it comes to like again it's my second language. because when I think like couldn't be able to like understandable when it comes to my ideal audience see me and understand me. So rather than me creating my audio with 11 laps, than this Hagen creating my avatar, I have already done it. If you go to my Twitter and you can see I have put in some videos because I was just experimenting it. But I would understand that okay, this is good, but inside me I asked myself who you wanted to become. Simple as that. So I wanted to improve myself as a English and as a second language. And
Certainly.
because for an example, I have to be on client call as well. I have to be speaking to a lot of people that is my ICP. So if I'm afraid of like in front of camera, because we are doing this kind of online thing, and online we have to hop on a call, do this virtual thing. And if I'm afraid of like in speaking in front of camera, those kind of things, because my first sales call was a person who live in Los Angeles and he was a pastor, and he had very very great like accent, those kind of things. And that was my first call, and to be honest I sweated. I just fumble, I don't know what to say, how to say it. And I have like a very much thing in me, but I couldn't like elaborate what I want to say, like how I'm speaking to you. For get me here, it took me like I would say 3 years.
And you sound awesome. You sound great.
I don't think so. I'm just working on my accent as well, because for an example, a lot of people like who are Indian and living in abroad have much more clear accent, so people can actually understand them. It's not about the word I'm using; it's about like the again the how to be more clearer in my industry. That's how it is. And
You sound great. All right. I have friends in India who don't speak a lick of English. I have to have translators between us in order to understand them. All right. Like you do. You sound fabulous.
so how does it came? So I've started this doing this Hagen, and again what I can say, 11 laps, and it is costing me a lot. And I think that I can do better if I like just speak. And I know like I have video posted on my YouTube as well. I started like in last November, and reading this script, those kind of things. It was a shitty video that I have uploaded. Simple as that. Now it's like being better version of myself when it comes to in front of camera, and when it comes to like talking to my ideal audience. That's how it is. That's how it was. So when you started your this when you actually started this YouTube, it's like together, like Facebook and YouTube together. So how you get started with that? And when we were before talking about that you were having this 300,000 followers on Facebook, and you were like uploading on YouTube as well, and the like audience is mismatching. So can you tell me about more and the viewers?
So it was 160,000. If I had 300, man, I would have loved 300,000. I don't know. It was weird because like I was posting on every platform. I was posting clips. I was posting full episodes. I was posting still images, quote cards, anything, anywhere to see what stuck. And my full episodes of my show, and it was a podcast. So I myself have done over 700 interviews. That's why I kind of tend to like start asking you questions. So my full episodes were on Facebook, and that's where I was getting people to watch them. But nobody was watching it on YouTube. So I don't know why. But then when I started doing the AI content, I just went back to posting everywhere again. And my YouTube started blowing up. That's where everybody started following me there for the AI stuff. So I think it's really based on where the audience is. Not everybody is everywhere, right? We'll find more gamers and tech people on Discord than we might necessarily find them on, you know, TikTok. I don't know. I don't use TikTok.
So you were posting in multiple platform, but not TikTok. Why?
If I post on TikTok, no, I don't. They don't like me on TikTok.
So what made you think that?
Oh, I get a lot of hate on TikTok. So hate. Oh, people say so mean things. They're so mean on TikTok. I get hate on YouTube. I get hate on Twitter. I've gotten hate on Facebook. It's usually something about the content, something about something I said on TikTok. They're like, "You're going bald, man." I'm like, "I'm not going bald. It's like this is my forehead."
Okay. So how you have come up with this kind of hate that you were speaking in multiple platforms? So like it doesn't hit you inside, like what I'm doing, like people like hit me, those kind of things.
You have to get over it. So like TikTok is just different. it was a different kind of mean that I wasn't used to. I've had people like, "Oh, are you really a doctor?" and like show them my diploma. I've had people tell me, "Oh, do you really know how to make business, make money?" Or like, "Here's my financials. Do you really know how to be able to like grow, an account? Like, here's the graph on Meta showing like that stuff's easy to counter." But when people are like, "Dude, you're ugly." I can't change that really. I guess I can put some makeup on or something, but
This is like in between that you are starting your content creation, or the in between that you already have some kind of viral videos and viral topic has in.
yeah. It doesn't matter if my video gets, when I had 100 followers on TikTok, I got the hate. When I have 1,400 followers on TikTok now, I get hate. But YouTube, I don't get that. My point was it's different audiences. There's different people, different age ranges, different groups, affiliations, things they like, things they dislike. And so, like, you're asking me like, why did I pick this platform over any other? But the answer is I picked all of the platforms, and then I figured out which one people were watching on, and I just made sure to like cater to them.
Okay, so when you find out those things and how long it took, and how much content that it took to you to understand those kind of things, what is the metric that you see?
Views, watch time, engagement, comments, the typical stuff. So when I switched over to the AI content and I started posting everywhere on YouTube, it happened really quick. Like I started getting hundreds of views and then thousands of views. And then, my videos kind of cap out around 10,000 to 30,000 views on YouTube, which is still pretty decent. But like I don't see that on Facebook. My videos might be at 100 to 200 views on Facebook. On TikTok, they get like 300 views. They don't go past that. Twitter, I get 2. I don't do Twitter, so
So you were posting the same content, for example, video to video, or you were just sharing the YouTube link inside your.
no, I posted natively everywhere, but it wasn't just videos, right? It was quote cards, it was pictures, it was carousels, as much content, different kinds of content as I could possibly think of, because I don't know what people are going to resonate with until they start to resonate. So if my AI stuff took off on Instagram and I was just doing carousels, I would have just done carousels. I wouldn't have been doing videos. I wouldn't have cared because they cared about carousels. So it's just a matter of figuring out what the audience wants and then you give it to them. Stop caring about what you want and the content you want to make, because if no one's watching it, then you spent all that time and just wasted it. Just give people what they want.
That's pretty much awesome. So if you go towards your building a business, those kind of things, so how do you come up with your first offer, those kind of things? How you started, how you have gained knowledge, okay, this is what I wanted to offer and this is what I want not to offer, those kind of things. So
So the way I've generally tried to do it, and I got some really good advice years ago from a marketer who was a kind of a mentor to me. He said, "Don't ever advertise anything that you can do until people are coming to you organically asking you to do it for them." I'm like, okay, I like that advice. So when I put out my content, I usually kind of just talk about what I'm doing first. This is what I'm learning. This is how I'm doing this process. This is how I've built this thing or this business or marketing myself, or I'm just talking about myself. And then people will come to me going, "Hey, I saw your video. I really like that. Can you help me with this?" And so then that becomes my offer because that's what people are asking for. And if I get more people asking, okay, well, that's what I'm going to focus on. The harder part is when you get people asking you for all kinds of different services and then you got to pick what you think you're going to focus on. That hasn't happened to me too often. I've seen it with my own clients though. So usually it's pretty specific for me. Like, help me build this, teach me how to do this, help me, do my marketing for me. It's pretty specific stuff.
so because I have asked that, because I have already speaking, because I have this community where there's a lot of people who are just starting out and wanted to start out, they're figuring out their offer, those kind of things. But they, how they actually figure out their offer is doing the outbound. But you have done opposite, like you have created content around your niche and what you wanted to do, and let people comes to you and you figure out what kind of offer that you wanted to sell and improvise that. But what people do actually, like right now, when they don't have offer, they don't have clarity, they have the niche but they don't have the clarity about what kind of offer they wanted to sell, and how they do is they like do outbound. They do not create content that just do outbound how much I say. So what is your perspective in that?
So I have a question. How can you have a niche or niche if you don't know what you're offering to them? Right? You can pick an audience, sure, but if you picked an audience, you should know that audience. You should know what it is that they want, what troubles they have, what kind of issues they live with, what are the kinds of products they already purchase, what websites, what social media content do they watch. You should know all that if you have a niche. And so it should not be hard to figure out what your offer is, because if, say, your niche is fitness people, you're probably selling fitness advice or fitness coaching or meal plans, or it's not hard to come up with an offer because it should fit with that audience. If you're trying to make something that you think that you just want to make and go off and sell into the world, it's not going to sell. I've tried it in the past; it doesn't work.
Why I asked that, and if you ask the question about the niche, so for an example, I have this YouTube niche. When I was starting this YouTube journey, building my own personal brand, those kind of things, I have worked with a lot of creator, like which is include faceless, non-faceless, distribution, podcaster, every kind of people. But I have this big niche, which is teaching people YouTube. And for an example, if I go towards the faceless niche, there is a lot of freebies audience. There's bunch of audience who wanted to make money with YouTube and this kind of AI era, this kind of things. But for an example, from that particular 1,000 people, I might get one or two people who are interested to buy my services and those kind of things. But then I was looking into more about how I can improve my offer and those kind of things, because I help multiple people but when it's building a personal brand and people see my personal brand that I have this 80 subscribers, those kind of things, and they don't kind of trust me because I have sell my portfolio to inside my video and send someone like hop on a call and I show them the result that I've generated. But the newer audience who don't actually know me, so they don't know my portfolio, they don't know my actual work, and until and unless I put a lot of content out there, that's how I am doing. So for an example, someone who have, maybe I was doing this kind of cold emailing, finding clients, will get to it, where people actually go and see my YouTube channel and they think that how this people, I'm having like 20,000 subscribers, how this person can help me. They didn't ask me like what is your result, what you have done for other, those kind of things. They just see my personal brand because I was trying to help a personal brand, those kind of things. Already help a lot of people back there, but that's how the difference is. That's when I like started doing content, getting more niches. Like before I was helping like coaches, consultant, business owner, because I wanted to be broad but I wanted to be constant in a niche. So I'm only helping the people who I wanted to work with, like 10 or 20 years, those kind of things. So when I was reaching out those people, big YouTuber, they don't trust me. And when I was doing school community, like reaching out to people, because and there they all want like traffic, those kind of things. Those who's starting out, who have been start out, who don't have channel, who are just doing outbound, who are just doing ads, they always wanted to have this YouTube channel and building community, those kind of things. Then I like starting talking to people who I can help. And what I understood, like you always can help people who are one step below from you. That's what I understand now. Like you can't help people like who have maybe 10,000 subscribers, means they are on current stage, how they look you, whatever content that you have post or whatever work that you have done is like nothing incomes.
Yeah,
Like
I hear you.
build a personal brand, so they look whatever you have done. For an example, I have been reach out a person for the same thing, the networking call inside school. And when we were talking about personal brand, those kind of thing, I sounds like I have some kind of expertise. But how he has said, when I like message him like let's do a networking call, he said let me go towards your personal brand or look at your YouTube channel and we'll get back to it. So they didn't ask me about what the work that you have done for others, those kind of things. Let me back to your YouTube channel, what the content that you are creating, and let's see how it's play out, those kind of things. So that's what I understand. Like you only can help people who are just a step below from you with your current situation, how world sees you right now. So
That's yes, and there's a way to shortcut it, and you're actually doing it right now by having this podcast. So when I did Gamerpreneur back in 2020, I started with zero. I wanted to prove that I could do it because of that exact reason. Nobody trusts you if you're smaller than them. So I'm like, okay, let me start from zero and see how to do it. And I started with a podcast and I just reached out to people, small business owners, just say, hey, I have a podcast. I'm starting it. It's brand new. No one's been on it. Would you please come on? And then at the end, I would always say, hey, is there anybody else you know who'd be interested in being able to share what they have with the wider world? I made it about them and the audience, not about me. And so that got me a whole bunch of interviews. Once I had 10 interviews, I could go to people and say, hey, I know I only have like 15 people subscribed to my channel, but we already had 10 interviews. We expect to grow. We'd love it if you can come on. You just kept rising up the ladder, keep asking for more people. Before I knew it, I was interviewing professional athletes, owners of companies making tens of and hundreds of millions of dollars a year. I was kind of now the person that I set out to be, because I had 160,000 followers after a year or so. And there's checkpoints. There's very clear checkpoints on social media where, like, when you have 5,000 subscribers, followers, whatever, it doesn't matter the platform. When you have 5,000, like, people think you're legitimate. When you have 10,000, oh, you're a big shot now, like, right? Even though you're still small, but you hit 30,000, oh man, like, you must be making money on this platform or something. And then it's 100,000, and then after that, you're just raising the numbers, right? It's a million people is a big number that no one understands.
So for the podcast that you have started, that you are reaching out to people, or like you create content to people to reach out to you, how it has gone through with that? So how
I did both.
guest?
I did both. So I made my own content to have content. And then I reached out to people just saying, hey, would you come on and help provide? And I had a mission. What made it different was I had a mission to dispel the myth that gamers are lazy, unmotivated basement dwellers. All right. And so for every gamer, that's something that resonates, especially if you're like a millennial or a little younger than I am, because we were told we were lazy growing up for sitting around playing video games all the time. Yeah, that you too? It resonates with you. So
Kind of. I've been working since like 17 now. It's like different industry, like offline store, those kind of things. And now it's been online for like 6 years now. So yeah, I played video game, but not as a video gamer. It's basically a few hours, those kind of things.
sure. But for gamers, it resonated. And because of that, people wanted to come on and talk about the mission. They didn't really care that I didn't have a following. It didn't matter because they knew that it was going to go on YouTube, it was going to go on social media, and they wanted their name out there. Like, I'm here on your show, right? I'm your very first guest.
Yeah.
This may turn into something. This video may never get any views, but at least if somebody Googles me, this podcast will come up. People will be able to see it and go, oh, Bradford knows what he's talking about.
Hmm. That's awesome. So if I ask you like how you have gotten your first paying client and which platform, how the process was for someone who like started creating content and wanted to start creating content, so how it will be, have like how you find your first client.
So we'll talk about the AI side, right? Because if we talk about the gamerpreneur side, the business side, I guess it's the same. It's just a different platform. I put out the content, and then I got people messaging me. They started messaging me saying, "Hey, I really love your content. I'd love to talk to you about marketing or about sales or about producing a program or building an AI bot or something, or teaching me how to do this." Sometimes it's just personal coaching. I made the content and I came across as an expert, someone that could be trusted, someone that people would like to be engaged with. And so long as you're making content, if you're doing the education side of it, that is a little bit different than the way everybody else does it, then you stand out. So, like for me with the AI, I wasn't doing, hey, with this N8N workflow, you'll be able to make $5,000 in the next hour. Right? That's what everybody else was doing. It was all hype. And I was talking about, hey, this is how the mechanics of this works. This is how you'd be able to use it in your business and why this would be good for your clients to use it. I was talking directly to my audience. And so they resonated with it and they reached out to me.
Mhm. So you were creating like sharing a screen kind of content or just working through it?
Sharing my screen.
Okay. So like, so you don't like have your first client with outbound, it's basically the inbound. So how
Yeah.
was
Yeah. For half the time, it's just a passion project to start. For the business coaching, I kind of having worked at the consulting firm, it was a little easier because I already had the network. So I didn't need to do outbound for my bread and butter job. But for my online brands, like, I didn't have a following to start. And people, like you said, don't trust you if you don't have a following to start. So you have to build that trust with your content. And for me, I always like to do podcasts because it's a great way to be able to build trust. I mean, I've interviewed people from all over the world, people who have won prestigious awards across various different brands, and it's a great way to be able to get your foot in the door because if you lead with, "Hey, I have a podcast. I'd love to interview you." You sit down with the person for an hour having a conversation just like this. When the recording gets turned off, you go, "Hey, that was such a great interview. I'd love to learn more about what you do." And you have a chance to have a talk afterwards. And that's when you can pitch because they usually always ask, "Oh, what do you do? I'd love to learn more about you," because there's a reciprocal nature in kind of feeling that they got something out of it that they want to talk to you about how can they help serve you now.
that's why I started this podcast, because I was doing this kind of discovery calls a lot, and people are not opening about what they are doing, what they wanted to do, how they are building offer, those kind of things. Or basically who are inside my community are the people who are just starting out, or wanting to build something, and they have some kind of trust issue with the people, like how to get, because they are doing too much outbound, they're reaching out to too much people and they are creating zero content. And when I speak about like why you are not creating content, you start creating content, those kind of things, this is, it is more work and they need revenue right now.
It's a lot of work.
So for me also, when I was starting this content creation journey, I was also doing outbound or the content creation. And in April specifically, I put up this thing like I will, like in my board also I mentioned like getting my first client with content. And when I was doing so much, I was doing very, very less. That's like how much you were doing. I was just posting one videos on YouTube. No shorts, no nothing, just one video. And it was pretty much shit because again, it's it's kind of start, and where people actually post like many, many content, because I was hearing this like long videos where Alex almost talk about his content strategy, and he were talking about like post more content, as much as content as you do. That's why he has almost like 1 hour 2 hours of like videos on his channel. And I have been speaking to a lot of people who are doing clipping for him, like those kind of things, and clipping the videos, putting all over the social media. And that's what I am trying to do as well. I'm just wanted to put more like longer videos and clipping out those videos and posting all over the social media. This how this clipping kind of things work, so you can have more eyeballs. So I'm just not building my own personal brand, but I'm building some bigger, so post more to get earlier traction. That's how.
It's brilliant. That's brilliant because if you get at someone who sees the videos, especially if they're not necessarily doing it themselves, "Oh, this looks great. Thank you so much." And then you slip in there, "Oh, if this is something you're interested in, I'd be happy to talk about doing that with you." And that's a sales conversation.
Yeah. So how people actually trust you when you're creating content? How trust build? It's like over time. How long it took? Like 6 months, 1 year, for someone who was just starting out and
Couple weeks.
and
Got my first paying client probably within 3 weeks of starting to make my AI videos.
what? Okay, how much you were making? Like it's like long form video that you are talking about. So it's like short form video.
Yeah, so the videos were maybe like half an hour to an hour. They were explainer videos. So I had built something and I was just showing off how it worked and all the different pieces and parts. And because people wanted to learn that tool, which was N8N, they came to me in order to teach them how to do it or to build for them because they didn't want to spend the time to do it.
Yeah. So I we have a pretty much conversation about this content, those kind of things. And if I wanted to ask you, like, if you have zero following, zero content on social media, like someone who wanted to just start out and those kind of things. So what you think that you do, like, can you tell me a short, like a very short way, how you have how you can start those kind of things?
Figure out who you want to talk to. So figure out who you want your audience to be and then ask yourselves what content are they already watching? Who are they already watching? Go watch those channels. Look at what they do, and then just do something like it, but just with your own style, with your own flair. That's it. There's nothing more complicated than that. Just make the stuff that they're already watching, and then some number of people will come in and start to watch your video. You have to have a good, thumbnail, right? Good headline. If you don't, then your video is not going to get watched. You have thumbnails so important. And then some people will come in, they'll watch. And as you start getting more people to watch, your numbers start going up. And then the next video you put out, it gets up a little bit higher and then a little bit higher. And that's just how it goes.
And like, what platform do you choose to actually start your content all over again?
All of them.
Like, what would be the first preference?
No, I do it. I would post on every single one all at the same time.
Okay, that's awesome. So if you are talking like now we have to move towards what you actually do, those kind of things. So how do AI automation and support your business right now? So how does it fit?
It does most everything for me at the moment. I'm actually in transition on my own social media right now. And I just finished, I think I told you about my animation studio that's going to be making some for me. So I'll call it version 2 of my animation studio. Start pumping out some content starting tomorrow. It's definitely better than the version 1. You can go see my version 1 on my YouTube channel. I put out an episode. It's so janky, it's so bad, but, like, it's AI generated cartoon where everybody like, there's actual characters, it's a soap opera, and so now they have animations, they have props they can use, it looks so much better, and to go back to your earlier question, like, why am I not making entertainment content? Well, I am now, but I'm also still doing the training stuff. I still have the lead magnets, I still have the funnels, I'm still giving away information and guidance and all of that, but also with the entertainment. It's the step that I never did, and I built AI to do it for me. But all of the lead magnets get generated by AI, my web pages get generated by AI, the whole funnel process, every email that gets sent out gets generated by AI. All I have to do is approve it now. So instead of having to sit there and try to think of what to write, like I had to do like 3 years ago, or even just go to ChatGPT in my browser and like, "Hey, I need you to write me an email," and then, go through 3 or 4 drafts. I don't do that anymore. I've tuned it to speak exactly how I want it to the people I want it to. I just had to hit a button to approve it, and it's just automatic.
So what kind of workflow that is pretty much have bigger impact in your business right now when it comes to creating content, automation, those kind of things?
So, my system is fully agentic. It's an agentic orchestration system, which may not mean much to people, right? But so basically, I turned my AIs into employees. So at the top, I have a CEO, and under him, I have department heads of like my marketing department, my sales department, my administration, all of that. And then each of the departments have different agents, and each agent has tools that they use between 3 to 20 tools each. And so each AI agent knows how to do the tasks that they're assigned. Each department head knows who's in the department, and the CEO knows all of it. So when I want something done, I go into what I call my conference room. I tell my CEO what I want. He pulls in the department heads who ask me questions, who ask each other questions. They look at my organizational database, my brain that I call it. They do all of this and come up with a strategy to do it. I say approve, and then they go and do it. And that's how that works.
That's awesome. So for example, a founder who is just starting out, what kind of first automation and what are the first thing that they have to automate and they wanted to automate and how to actually went? For example, me, if I'm not automating anything, so what is the first thing that I should look and automate? So how the
So, do you have clients coming in? If not, sales is your only concern. And so sales and marketing go hand in hand. Do something that helps you post on social media, do something that helps you send emails out, do something that'll help get you some kind of client in some way. So for me, like I said, usually what I'll do is just make content. So I would have built, I would build now if I was starting from scratch, a tool that helps me just post on everything really quick.
Mhm.
And then I can improve that tool to make it sound better. So day 1 may not look good. Day 2 would look better. Day 3 looks and sounds better. Day 4, my images would be beautiful. I'll have carousels, right? You just use the tools and then grow day by day. But sales comes first. You have to get clients and revenue coming in. Otherwise, you don't have a business.
So you have a school community, right? And you build those systems. So you like get all the system that you have built it and showing your inside your YouTube channel and posted that workflow inside your community as well. So how does
Give it away for free. So yeah, every video I would build a workflow. I would then say, hey, join my free school community. You'll get it for free along with 30, 40, 50 other free workflows, you stack the value. And I get 100 new people a week still in my school community talking about N8N, and I don't even talk about N8N anymore because that's last year. Like, people are still lurking for it though. That's the thing. The audience is still there even though I've moved on. And so, like, my channel is still bringing me in business every single day.
and what kind of involvement a founder should have inside the business when they are building a workflow already on automation? Most people actually work on this cloud code as you are working on cloud code and teaching people to do the same. So what things that you are involved in the inside business, or someone who are just starting out with this automation and they should be like involved that into?
So it comes down to obviously how big the business is. Most of my clients, I prefer working on with solo coaches, small or coaches with small teams, consultants with small teams. If you're, 50, 100 employees plus, I can work with you. But I like working with small guys just because it's easier, it's faster, things get done much more quickly. And to answer your question, what is the thing that would save you the most time right now? Just whatever it is. And almost everybody has an idea of what that is. If only I could automate this, whether it's your content creation or your proposal creation or whatever system you would use in order to review the quotes, RFQs, whatever it is, right? If just figure out how to automate that, you'll save an hour, 2, 3, 4 hours a day. And that's now time you can go do something else or even find something else to automate. And before you know it, you've automated a ton of stuff and there's not much left to do manually. It's the craziest experience. Once you've automated everything, you're sitting around like, what else is there to do?
So like you have built it this kind of agentic automation, those kind of thing with cloud code already.
Yes.
So, and how much employee that you have inside it? Like how much workflow it's like?
I have over 90 AI agents with over 600 workflows and another 400 other processes on top of it. So it's taken me about 7 months to build the whole thing. This isn't something that there's just no way if someone like say, Brad, I need you to like build this for me. I couldn't do it. Like it's gonna take too long.
So, how much time that you have given to this, like per day, to build this agentic workflow, those kind of thing that is helping you right now?
Most of it was built. It's like when I was doing the N8N stuff, it was the workflows are the workflows. It's each workflow is a task that it gets accomplished. And so it's the how do I get the agents to talk to each other? How do I get my marketing team to talk to my sales team? So as an example, when I do my outbound, I have a CRM, my customer relationship management that tracks every communication I have with that person. So when I generate an outbound email to them, I pull from the CRM, it's able to talk. But when they schedule a call, say through that email that I sent, I get a brief in advance of the call that tells me who this person is, what all the conversations we've had. It scrapes their website, it scrapes their social media, it looks at everything to be able to tell me how to communicate with this person. And then when I've had my sales call, I do it through Google Meet. It records the thing. The recording then gets run through another process that generates the proposal based on what we talked about, creates the contract based on what we talked about, all of that, creates the sales page that they're going to purchase on if I gave them a custom quote. And it's all just smooth. And so it was just a matter of thinking through what is the thing that I'm spending the most time on now? Automate that, and then the next thing you have to do is, okay, what's the next thing that I spend the most time on and automate that. And before you know it, you chain it together. And the part that I've spent the past, 4 or 5 months on is how do I get the AIs to do it themselves rather than me needing to run these workflows? How do I get the AI to do it? And then how do I get the AI to just have one person to talk to rather than all of these various AIs that I have?
So, how much is it costing you,
A few cents a day.
and what is a month costly? Like
I mean, I might spend $15 to $20 US most months.
that's all.
That's all. DeepSeek just came out, a couple days ago. DeepSeek V4 Flash is what, like 15 cents per million input, 28 cents per million output, and it's just as good as like Claude 4.6. It costs next to nothing.
So all the AI agents, all the software that you have right now to automate all their work right now. So that's what I'm saying. How much is costing you? That's include the API, that's include the software that you have, those kind of things.
So I have a VPS. You pay for the VPS per year, per 2 years. That's for like $300 for the year. The other softwares, I have Google Workspace for my Google account. That costs me like $12 a month.
So
Other than
like can you tell me total of it, like altogether, roughly how much you are spending?
maybe $50 a month.
That's all.
Yeah, it doesn't take much.
Because I think Cloud Code has this 100.
Okay, right. Well, yep. Claude costs 200 a month. Oh, there you go. Yeah, but like, if I turned off Claude Code today, I could still run everything. My system does not need Claude Code.
Like you have N10, that's how it is.
Yeah, I have N8N and then AI, through OpenAI or DeepSeek, Gemini for images here and there.
Okay. So like what change the when you have this automation and those kind of things, just a short thing, what change inside your business when you have those automation and when you don't have, like short?
Everything started looking nicer. That's what changed. So I had a philosophy through all these years, and you can probably tell based on our conversation. My philosophy was get it done, not pretty. As long as I could get it done and then published, I was able to grow my business. And I always figured, oh, when I have more time, I'll finally be able to make it look pretty, which will allow me to be able to get clients faster, be able to grow faster, and all of that. Because that is a huge element of it, is making it look good, especially like on YouTube. If you don't have a good looking thumbnail, or if you don't have the right animations, or if you don't do the right cuts, you get lower viewership on YouTube. And so with the AI, it's really allowing me to make everything just look nicer because it's all being done with code and HTML.
So now we have moving towards like the someone who is can go from 0 to 10K a month. So when you hit that market, like mark the 10K a month for your business and those kind of thing, what is your best month of the business as well? Can you like shortly tell me?
I've probably got 50K.
Like how long it took you to like go from 0 to 10K a month consistent?
So from 0 to 10K took about 2 months. And from 0 to 1K took about 1 month. And then, you get a couple clients and then that's at 5K right quick.
And how you come up with the pricing of your offer? Like how you decide, okay, this is the good pricing for your offer, this is not the good pricing for your offer.
So there's strategy to it, and it's a matter of a value ladder, if you're familiar with the concept.
Yes.
So you have to have, low ticket for people who are mostly freebie seekers, right? I got a lot of free stuff for the freebie seekers. Some number of them will buy the low ticket. Some number of them will want coaching. Some number of them, and so on, right? And so the way I price myself is I just kind of picked my numbers. I'm probably not even charging enough. So I'll do like a 2-day intensive for about $18,000 with a business that I go to. If you want one-on-one coaching, it's usually about $5,000 a month for like one call a week. If I'm doing my group coaching, that's about $3,500 for the program. It's a 6-week program. And then below that, I might have some smaller classes, which are just videos, charge 97, 47, somewhere in there. And so it's just a matter of filtering the people up until the price that they're willing to pay. At the start, like I said, I was putting out the content and figuring out what people wanted. And then it was a matter of, well, hey, I was learning this stuff too, right? The AI stuff. So I didn't know like if I could necessarily coach you for $5,000 a month because I'm still building myself. So I might charge 500 a month and would have a weekly call. But once I like got the skill and I had the credentials, I had all the testimonials and the 6,000 subscribers and all that, I can rightly say, oh yeah, I charge 5,000 a month and I have no qualms about saying it. So my first call was more just fact finding, trying to figure out what issue does this person have and is it something that I might be able to solve? And today it's more diagnostic. I kind of already know what they need. And so it's just a matter of asking the right questions, get them to understand that there's an issue in their business that needs solved. Because most people will say like, "Oh, I need a phone system." That's not necessarily what they need. They need to understand what processes they actually run in their business because a phone system isn't going to be able to save them if they don't have the right SOPs on what happens with a phone call. And so that's where the coaching comes in. Is it's just still ultimately I'm a business coach. I'm just using AI as the hook to get people to talk.
Okay. So when you
So what I would tell anybody is if you are starting absolutely from scratch, go to YouTube and find people who are saying this is what your sales script should look like, and then just try that. Just so I had a coach that I hired. I paid for his class at least, and he gave away a sales script with better. And I
mindset that change when you are growing your business. So can you tell me the mindset change that you had?
there was a confidence change for sure because especially when you're getting into something new, you don't necessarily have the confidence that you can teach or that you can help in the way that you think they might need. Even though I'm using Claude Code and I'm able to make any piece of software that I really want at this moment, people are there's different levels of understanding. And so don't assume that the person you're talking to is on the same level as you. They're probably way farther down them to see that there's a path forward. And so it was confidence. When I first started out, I didn't know I could teach AI, and now it's so easy.
So what system in your business is being essential right now inside that you can't run your business without it?
The entire thing, it's so integrated together at this point that if I lost a piece, the whole thing breaks. Like I have to have the whole.
But for an example, we can talk about the bigger part and we can talk about the least essential part. Like,
Sure. So the part I like the most is my sales system. So the sales system, I do have a cold outreach system. It does send emails. It does give me phone numbers to call if I choose to do that on certain days. But it does the scraping, it does the enrichment, it does the contact finding. It then my system will I have different tracks. So some tracks I'll do engagement on social media for a few days or a couple weeks before I might reach out by email. Some is just straight cold contact. But then, like I said, when I have the meetings, the process just flows. I don't have to think about I finished a call. Now I got to go find the transcript and I got to remember all the stuff I have to do. Like, no, it just takes care of itself. So it's my sales system, 100%.
and if I ask you what one advice that you can give to someone who wanted to go from zero to $10,000 a month?
What's one idea to go from zero to $10,000 a month?
Yeah, idea, advice, suggestion, someone who was just starting out and wanted to grow from zero to one, like.
So there is always people looking to buy. It doesn't matter what market it is. It does not matter what market it is. There are people looking to buy what is currently causing them pain. So stop trying to sell what you think might help people. What is causing them pain? Go figure that out and then sell that. So is it teaching people how to sell real estate, make money with real estate? People are constant. Their pain is they're broke. They want to make more money. So sell them how to make money. And honestly, that's one of the easiest things on the planet to sell is making more money because people are always looking for more money. Is it health? Health is a little tougher because the platforms will restrict you. Is it relationship advice? Maybe you are a Casanova and you get women left and right. Teach guys how to get women. There's plenty of guys out there looking for it. Just figure out what is it that your audience wants. Pick the niche, pick the pain, sell the solution. That's it.
So you actually answer a question that I wanted to ask you right now, which was like, imagine someone watching this episode today and they don't know their niche, they don't know what to sell, and they don't know about like what video to make, and they have zero subscriber and zero client. What would you actually tell them to do during this next 30 days? And you answer that. So I thought I have to.
Well, not quite. I didn't quite answer it because the answer is if they're tabula rasa, they have nothing, right? What do you like? All right, that's the question to start with. What do you like? Are there people like you? So when I was doing the gamer one, it was really easy because I was a gamer. I could say, "Are you a gamer? Then you would like this."
So yeah. So now we have like about this end of the podcast, and I just want you to tell me about your services, business, what you do, who you help, your coaching, consulting, your AI system. So how people actually can find you, those kind of things.
Certainly. So you can find me on my website. It's bradfordcarlton.com. You can also go to my free school community. That's Automate Business AI. And what I do is I show people how to build the systems that they need in their business in order to be able to grow and scale. All right. So many people are caught up on what is AI or how much AI or how smart the agent is. I don't use all that much AI in my own systems, and you don't have to. That's the thing that people are getting caught up in. We're getting caught up in the hype of AI, but it's all about the systems. How do businesses run? What are the tasks that need done? What are the procedures that need followed? The same thing every business ever has had to deal with. We can just now automate so much of it. And I show people how to be able to do that.
That sound fantastic. And before just we wrap up, I just wanted to tell like the audience about myself. And I run this YBC podcast, which is called YouTube Business Club full form. And I have this community where I actually help small channels to grow on YouTube and start finding the audience, right audience, come up with best offer, how they can grow your community, how they can grow their audiences, multi-channel, like how Bradford is doing, not only like posting on YouTube, but posting all over the social media, but by using YouTube content. That's how it is. And I actually help build personal brand. Like I have this weekly coaching call also for my like done with you services. I don't have done for you right now. I do have, but I do not focus on that because focusing on particular people who just wanted to start out and they're just like a month away and they just try to do wrong things for years, those kind of things. So that's how it is. If someone wanted to like start their YouTube channel and wanted to start their YouTube channel, building their personal brand, getting this client acquisition system for their like business, they can just join my community, and the link will be in the description. So yeah, thank you so much, Brentford.
Absolutely. Thank you for having me. I appreciate this.